Hello, welcome to another Mental Moments. Topic of discussion today is uncomfortable truths. We're funny old things, us humans, aren't we? We talked before about the fact that we quite often treat things that are not life-threatening and not that big a deal, the same way we would treat something genuinely life-threatening, like our friend the saber-toothed tiger. In the same way, though, quite often we've got this ability, us humans, to kind of downplay real risk and the source of real problems in our lives. Maybe for some of the scarier or the more exciting stuff. So I've got or we've got three daughters, and to be honest, my fears for their safety are much more centered around people that they know, specifically males that they know. Because history and statistics and all that sort of stuff says that they're at more risk of from males that they know. That's a really uncomfortable truth, but it is the truth, and it doesn't mean that we teach them to be paranoid and think every male that they know is out to get them. But we do teach them to start to read the signs of people who are going to abuse trust and do the wrong thing by them. So that's a really uncomfortable truth, but it is a truth. I'm much more worried about that than terrorism, for example. When it comes to males, particularly young males, from a self-defense aspect, an uncomfortable truth is places where lots of young men gather and drink and take drugs. Absolutely biggest risk there is. Driving our cars, hey, we're West Aussies, we like to drive our big bloody four-wheel drives all over the place. But you know what, like, I used a video of two gorillas having a fight on Roe Highway the other day in our classes. This is where most of our problems come from. So like, if we actually face these uncomfortable truths, we prepare ourselves for where real problems may come from. A, we're likely to avoid them. If needs be, we can deal with them. Either by self-defense or evasive action or whatever it is. And C, we'll recover a lot quicker from things if we kind of accept, there's a possibility of this happening. Like, we're all worried about bloody terrorists and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's a little bit of a concern, but personally, it's not really high up on my agenda. So look, other uncomfortable truths that we all live with. We're all going to die, each and every one of us. Which, I think it's actually a really positive thing when you're comfortable with that uncomfortable truth, because then maybe we can all make a little bit more of our life every day when we think about that, and the legacy that we leave, because the legacy that we leave will be the things we've created and the impact that we've had on the people that are most important to us. Going back to one of those last uncomfortable truths, wouldn't it be a lot better to think, you know what, I injected confidence and coaching and helping and that sort of stuff, capability into people that I cared about, rather than made them hate to be around me. Horrible, hey, but it's an uncomfortable truth. So other uncomfortable truths for me personally, it's things like, if you want to, you have to be uncomfortable to kind of do big things and things that you want to do. Certainly the Krav Maga journeys involved lots of bruises, lots of mental challenges, and they still go on, and they'll go on as long as I'm on this journey, and that's okay. But most of the things that are really worth doing, they come with a hell of a lot of discomfort too, personal relationships, all that sort of stuff. So if we become a little bit more comfortable with being uncomfortable, life opens up a lot more. I don't know. We like I said, we have three kids, and we all tell our kids fairy tales, and a lot of fairy tales are really good lessons. Even like, you know, the Bible and all the great religious books. I'm not religious, but I think there's some fantastic tales about life in there and how to approach things. But we quite often sugarcoat things for kids in particular, and then we get older and we kind of do it for ourselves. We think, you know, the world's this wonderful, caring, happy, lovely place and nothing terrible ever happens. Yeah, well, it does. It doesn't mean that everything that happens is terrible. It's not. Like, but the funny thing is, if you open yourself up and you're comfortable with the fact that there's darkness, the light becomes, you value the light a lot more. And, you know, like I said, I think we kid ourselves, you know, with entertainment and social media and all that sort of stuff, that, you know, there's these people out there living these perfect lives that are never challenged, and, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's like a lot of things is bullshit. But, yeah, look, learning to be comfortable being uncomfortable, personally, some of the best times of my life have been just on the other side of that. Man, this is really uncomfortable. It's scary. I don't feel like I want to be up here. I've got to tell you, doing things like these videos, they're pretty uncomfortable to start doing, I've got to admit. But hopefully people get some value out of it. You know, particularly for me, one of the things that kind of drives me is if I can get to people a little bit earlier in life than when I started to realise that you need to face up to uncomfortable truths, and that you'll actually be a lot happier when you sort of acknowledge that they exist and work out how to deal with them if they come up. You know, the quicker, if as an old bugger who's been, you know, around the block a few times, if I can do that to young and old, well, I reckon that's pretty good. And that's what this is all about, really. And you know what? When we most of us know people, maybe we are people that suffer a lot because we're trying to reconcile one or more like horrible things that kind of happened to us, maybe in the past. So yeah, learning to face up to the darker side of life, I guess. And developing tools and using tools to do that, it lessens the sort of impact of those, or it can do, yeah. So anyway, because like I've got to say, most of the people that I absolutely admire the most in the world have been through a fair bit of shit, and they've come out the other side, and they've learnt from it. They've changed too. Like that's the other thing. I think we're scared of the fact that hard things happen or horrible things happen, and we change as human beings. Of course we do. Like we change from when we're a kid, when we're a baby, to when we're a kid. We change from when we're a kid to when we're a teenager, and we change like all through our life. And it's not a bad thing. Like we're just, you know, we're all on a journey, as the hippies say. So yeah. And what do they say? Nothing ever grows. Nothing ever grows in a comfort zone. So anyway, that's it. Enough of my rambling about being uncomfortable. I'll see you the next time on a video where I'll be uncomfortable again.